Nerts.
Rise and shine, you sleepyhead. Good morning, my little babes. Hope I didn't wake you, but I'm just too jazzed with energy. Because you see this? You see this right here? This right here is none other than the April Perch Nerds. Oh boy. Feels a little light. But let's get into it and find out what is going to keep us solidly engaged for the next 5 weeks. But before I get the Pulitzer Prize winning investigative team down at KRKN Channel 5 News to give their hot take, let me just set up this game that we have in the background. This is from a couple weeks ago, where I just went out to mind my own business in the piece of garbage Riga. I mean, if I say that enough, it's gonna get buffed, right? And while it's true that my fellow CC Juice to Goose is over on the red team, and that there is one cranky cracka in the red CV, which I honestly won't notice until quite a bit later in this game in hilarious fashion, the reason I saved this gameplay was because it was a very good game. And I'm really using my head for something other than a hat rack here. I'm going to position very well, I'm going to abuse game mechanics that are working as intended, and I'm going to support my teammates and, most importantly, carry them to victory. So while that plays in the background, let's get into the kibbles and bits of these notes and send it down to the news team. Go ahead, team. Thanks, jerk. Well, it is hard to believe, but we are 3 years in from the launch of early access in this game. Sure, things have changed, haven't they? Why, you kids today, you don't know the pain and misery we suffered having to walk uphill both ways just to get George Dewey out of a crate every week for 6 weeks in a row. And there weren't commendations back then. No, you just got more Commander XP, and you liked it. Because you couldn't buy duplicate commanders with Commander XP either, but now, 3 years in, we have all sorts of stuff to celebrate, like a 3 times first win bonus, a special sale, and more. First, we have the campaign ship, the Flandre, triple turret French battleship with 3x3 380mm guns. I checked in with Blip, and he informs me that the AP is the exact same as it is on PC, so we know everything we need to know there, but maybe I should double check on the Sigma. This should be a pretty healthy battle boat with no real consumables to choose from and the same half-baked secondaries most ships get. Not really too excited for this, but I will reserve judgment until I actually play it. I mean, I wasn't all that excited about the Brandenburg, and boy was I wrong there. We're going to have 3v3 ranked in tiers 3 through 5, so that should be fun. I mean, we had fun with 1v1s, and now maybe we can do that on stream, or maybe I can div up with some other CCs or something. I don't know, we'll see, but it leaves open some possibilities. Hopefully, that will give us more steel to spend on the brand new steel ship. Oh, no new steel ship. Someone fact-checked me on this, but aren't we like 18 months into them adding steel? And we've got the Missouri and the Murmansk, and wow. My thoughts on them adding steel from the patch notes video way back then has aged like fine wine. It is delicious to be right. Maybe they could add like a legendary cruiser for steel? Because at this rate... Oh, that's right. We finally have a bona fide legendary tier heavy cruiser in the Bureau. And it is none other than the Des Moines. That's right, the Baltimore's big bro. And while I don't have all the stats, I do know that it is going to be a rude awakening for many legendary tier players and 2 tier 7 players. I have mentioned many times in the past that I speculate that the lack of heavy cruisers in legendary tier is because how can you balance them? They have to be better than the tier below, but not so much that they can just dumpster everything. And it looks like the balance department said, you know what, we can't do it. So let's just put a bunch of ships in there that can theoretically balance them in the game, and we'll say, yo, we gave you the tools, what do you want us to do about it? It has shell arcs to lob islands, so battleship players can bemoan its brutal barrage of HE as they sit bow in. And then it's got the super heavy American AP with improved penetration angles to punish anyone who should show it any broadside. And on top of that, it reloads twice as fast as a Baltimore. And on top of that, it has radar, sonar, decent armor, etc. Look, you can't buff inexperience, and I won't rehash all the issues that I have with Legendary tier, but I will say that more Legendary tier heavy cruisers are needed, and that's why we have a second Bureau project. Why, it's none other than the Tier 7 carrier. Yes, that's what will fix Legendary tier, a Tier 7 carrier. Great idea. That's right, now, in the nearly 2 years that the Bureau has been a thing, we've gotten twice as many carriers to research as Legendary tier heavy cruisers. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Like I said, they're clearly trying to boost the carrier population at Tier 7 by giving away more time-gated ships because grinding the lines takes too long because you can't earn enough an XP from the back corner of the map. Excellent design choices. What else? We have a Golden Week coming up with a Tier 5 Japanese battleship Hyuga, which, just between us, I think it's going to be pretty darn good, but keep that on the DL. Suzuya will return for Global XP, which, if you missed it, is a solid farming ship, though not really a ship you'll be carrying games with. And if you want to win games, you need to be able to carry your team. There's also going to be some crates that can award you other stuff, but seeing as it's all ships I already have, I don't care. A new collab with Dirt League for some geysers to make your shells blue. Circle your calendar, a new Tier 5 Pan-Asian destroyer Anshan will be available. It's another repurposed Gnevny, but with the choice of deep water torps or regular torps. And the spawns for Atlantic and Two Brothers have been reworked, supposedly after extensive feedback from none other than Let 'em Peek. I also know that Two Brothers is getting its center spawn, so dial your stupidity up to special. And that's it. Yeah, I gotta say this update feels pretty light, maybe a bit better than the Somers update, but I personally do not see a lot here for me. Yes, I will get to Des Moines for a week, I'm guessing. That's how it usually works for them CCs. But outside of that, Flandre, sure, Hyuga, okay. After the Des Moines leaves my port, I will just have to log in once a day so that I can see it again in 2 months. And man, that's dumb. So how does that translate to content for this channel? Well, we will see. It is really just kind of baffling to me the pace of balance changes made in this game. I mean, what you are going to witness me doing right now is just abusing Will to Rebuild. Everybody complains about it. Ouija says it's working as intended, but, you know, sometimes they say they balance things because of community perception. I haven't seen them bring this up once yet. Nonetheless, I am using the Massachusetts on my right to block any incoming fire from the carrier, and I'm using this position to keep their Will to Rebuild activated. This is imperative for me to win this match. I have to remove a few of these ships, and I really need this battleship's help to do it. You can see me telling them to get back because we know this Hipper is going to be coming around here, and they are going to be getting back. And the carrier, yeah, they're going to strike me there, but they have repeatedly tried to sink this Massachusetts. He's been hit with God knows how many torpedoes. He's had how many fires put on them. It doesn't really matter, because as long as I stay within relatively decent range, nobody can do anything about it. That seems like really good design choice, but I will say I was aware that I was abusing it at this point, and that's because I really wanted to win this match, because I like to win. Oh, it looks like they've got either 2 or 3 fires on them. Maybe it's just 2. I don't really know for certain. Anyway, we got this Brandenburg coming around here. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but I've just been smashing its turrets over and over, because every time I smash its turrets, it can't fire at the Massachusetts next to me, and maybe they will get another fire on them, and that will continue to burn. So I just smash the turrets over and over with the Riga, because Riga is absolute garbage, as we all know. The Hippers getting frustrated as they come around here. I know that they're going to be dropping torps. The whole thing to me is Will the Massachusetts be able to outlive a torp strike? I don't know. I know that I kind of have to dodge it. But I think that Massachusetts must have just been damage saturated by the numerous torps brought in by the CV and all these fires that have just been burning on them. And yet they still continue to live because that's working as intended. Anyway, at this point, I kind of have to go forward because I see these battleships flanking around behind me. I'm not going to be able to carry this Massachusetts much longer. So if I can get up here and get into safety, there is a chance that I might actually be able to win this game. We smash the Brandenburg turret again. I think that is 3 or 4 broken turrets, not all the same one. We just break them whenever we can. And there goes the Brandenburg. And now I have to reposition myself to kind of get some protection here. As you'll see, it is just me, our carrier, and their carrier, and a couple battleships. And this is where I look over and I'm like, what? Oh no, that is Cranky in the Pobeda over there. So I want to try and dodge this torp desperately. And I've got 1 turret on them. And once I successfully dodge that turret, let's just lob this shot and see what happens. Well, Cranky gets a die hard, and I get the ship sunk. So right now, my team has a pretty decent point lead. That Brandenburg's going to flip B, and the Georgia's over on C. And would they catch up on points before the clock expires? Probably not, because I'm going to flip this. So the Brandenburg does have to push me, but they don't have to push me broadside. But I'm guessing they are feeling that they can because they've been on Reddit and they've seen how much the Riga sucks. And I want to give a shout out to our CV here for keeping this Brandenburg spotted for me, because that really helps me know how I need to position for when they come around here. And since they are coming around broadside, I just need to give them just enough angle. And there's a solitary bomb from Cranky. Either way, Riga sucks. There goes Brandenburg. And this is pretty much the game, right? The Georgia is now going to know that they have to come sink me. There's just not enough time to be able to flip that cap and catch up on points. So they got to come over here. And I'm here thinking, okay, do I want to go for the Kraken and have maximum glory, or do I want to guarantee the win? And I want to guarantee the win. I feel like that Massachusetts, our CV, they did so much work in this match to make it a win. That would just be really poor teammate of me to ignore that and just go live for my own glory. So what I've done here is I've driven into this island because I want to reverse and get myself angled so I can either turn left or right, depending on which way this Georgia is approaching. And that's what I'm going to do here. Back up and then wait just a little bit because I know the Georgia's coming for me. And then I'm going to trigger my radar to be able to see where the Georgia's headed. And we're going to do that right now. All right, Georgia's headed to the south. That tells me that I need to head to the north. And with that done, I can just ride off into the sunset to victory. So rather than make y'all watch that, let's just go ahead and fast forward to the scoreboard. Okay, 2,948 XP for just shy of a very good game. But I will go ahead and say it was a very good game, mostly made possible by my teammates and the dumbest, most broken skill in the game. Thanks, Will Rebuild. And a GG to the red team too. Afterwards, Cranky messaged me and said he should have killed me first, and you know what? He's right. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you're thankful that Ouija is encouraging you to do something other with your time by releasing boring updates, then give this video a like. If you've already spent the doubloons to boost your way into saving legendary tier with the Saipan, give it a dislike. Questions, comments, leave them down below. And if you want to see how we over here get along with the memes, think about hitting subscribe. Thanks for watching, folks. I will get back out there, and we will talk then.